productions, like the marquee in the Boston Exhibition Center, and I've done small projections here. And I also do writing and directing, producing for filmmaking, and I teach at Emerson College. So basically, this piece that I have here, and you are more than welcome to come at any point, is called Seasons Exchange. And so this is a piece I made during the pandemic, at a time where we're shut down, locked down, not much is happening. And so what do? Has lots of art venues and places are shut down, and galleries, we don't know when we'll come back, and there's a lot of questions in the air, and there's this urge to go outside, and so I work in using software that is mostly for concerts, and concert venues, and music videos, works that deal with dreams, and memories, and synesthesia, and possibilities. And so this piece is about the wanting to escape, wanting to be out in the outdoors, but you're stuck in the digital, you're stuck in Zoom, you're stuck in home, and so when will that happen? It's like and how will that feel when we're out and about again, taking your mask off to bright blue skies. And I love experimenting with shape, with form, with color. I'm really into the different types of color theory and associating emotions and feelings and whatever is happening inside. We can bring it out there little by little. And yeah, and time changes and it fluctuates, and we're always kind of existing, and life exists in seasons. And this work very much reminds me of a time when I used to work at the ICA Boston. I used to be a gallery assistant. And this is like 8 to 9 years ago, so way back in the day. And it reminds me of time of walking around the gallery. So you're out there on the floor, like by yourself in spaces. Maybe you forgot your phone or you forgot your watch. So there would be times where I would lose track of time. And if you've ever worked in like a space like that, you can't have your phone out, or you can't sit down, you're on your feet a lot, you have to wear black. And so this pacing around and trying to think about what time is it? What time is my next break? It's a 5-minute break. And then when do I get to go home? And so trying to measure out time in that sense with no clocks anywhere, or being able to ask people what time is it, is definitely quite an experience. And I think that one of my favorite times that I was working in the gallery was for Andrew Bird's echolocations, that was at the gallery, where it was in the area close to the window that has the view of the ocean, and there were a lot of these sound pieces that looked like flowers, and they would have from the album a lot of music. And so that was my favorite room to be in, because I would be able to measure time with the music that was playing, and I would pace around, and in that time period, because the Andrew Bird's music is gorgeous, and the pieces that looked like flowers that had music, I was able to kind of just time my steps to music and start to gauge when would the next rotation be. And so I would look out the window, and there's maybe it's a bright, beautiful day outside, and so my mind would just kind of daydream. And I also do dance, I do contemporary performance, and so I would just kind of pace around in a form of dance with the music and measure time that way. I had a whole system because I forget my watch a lot. But yeah, and so there's these connections of being during the pandemic, stuck at home, and trying to figure out what time is it. The day has gone by, and so the next day comes, and it was very bizarre. And so And so I was able to make these like connections of that because it made me more, working at the gallery made me more conscious of time to value it, to not rush ahead of it because, a piece like that would, then close down and I feel like a certain way about it because I miss it again. So, so I work a lot with music and like the way that the images flow in and out with the music. And how time and space is explored with colors and images. And my favorite, which is glitch. And that's basically when like the image does something it's not supposed to do. And so maybe a glitch for me in like real life would be at the gallery where maybe someone would interrupt my thought and then maybe a visitor, I would have to attend to them. And so I'd have to like restart, where am I again? The music and in the steps that I'm counting or in whatever calculations I was doing or at home during the pandemic. So so I'm open to questions if anybody would like to ask. Yeah.
Could you tell us about your creative process and how you make the projections?
Yeah, so I work a lot with music and then sound art and try to like think about like how do I feel about it. So I start to like kind of create colors and image to the sounds that I'm listening to, and then I try it. Does this part work well with this? And maybe that comes from my film history of like the image with the sound. And so then I start to try things out. And maybe like I start to insert like an air, like I throw in like a wrench in like the flow of the things. Because life kind of is like that. There are wrenches. And so so I feel it out and maybe it's like a wavy line. And then what if that line turns like sharp and like we switch out to something else? And so it has like this like interpretive kind of, it's like dance in that sense where you like, you switch the movement out. And the software is attempting to like understand what you are trying to insert into it. So, and even the use of the software, it's not meant to create artwork in that sense, meant to create the images for a concert. It's supposed to sound like look pretty and things like that, but I don't want it to look so uniform like in that sense. So, and then, so it's a process, it takes time, and it's all in the digital realm, and then how can I bring in both image and sound outside of that sphere so people can feel something, is something that I'm really focused on. Anybody else?